The Conservatives are still struggling to capitalise on Labour's poor polling and economic woes. Reform UK would win almost twice as many seats as the Conservative Party if an election were held now, a new poll has found. Despite Labour's poor approval ratings since taking office in July, the Tories have failed to make up substantial ground on the governing party to put pressure on Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Meanwhile, Reform UK have enjoyed a period of growing momentum under leader Nigel Farage. A Find Out Now poll released this week put Reform and Labour neck and neck on 25% of the vote. The same pollster has looked at data with the help of Election Maps UK. They say that Reform would win 170 seats if an election were held now, up drastically from the 5 seats they won in the 2024 vote. Meanwhile, Election Maps UK's data put the Tories on just 89 seats. Labour would also drop significantly to 238 seats, down from its supermajority of 411 seats in 2024. Meanwhile, GB News analysed the data and found that just 1 seat in Essex would remain Conservative while all of the others would back Reform. Epping Forest would be the only seat to remain Conservative. Below is a full list of the seats in Essex and how they would vote. Basildon and Billericay predicted vote share: Reform 38.2%, Con 21.6%. Braintree predicted vote share: Reform 34. %, Con 26.5%. Brentwood and Unger predicted vote share: Reform 35.9%, Con 27.7%. Castle Point predicted vote share: Reform 41. %, Con 29.1%. Chelmsford predicted vote share: Reform 25.0%, Con 21.5%. Clacton predicted vote share: Reform 57. %, Con 18.9%. Colchester predicted vote share: Reform 26.5%, Con 14.5%. Epping Forest predicted vote share: Reform 11. %, Con 34.2%. Harlow predicted vote share: Reform 32.9%, Con 22.8%. Harwich and North Essex predicted vote share: Reform 31. %, Con 25.4%. Malden predicted vote share: Reform 36.7%, Con 29.8%. North West Essex predicted vote share: Reform 31. %, Con 25.4%. Rayleigh and Wickford predicted vote share: Reform 36.8%, Con 28.0%. Southend East and Rochford predicted vote share: Reform 29.5%, Con 19.6%. Southend West and Lee predicted vote share: Reform 29%, Con 22. %. Thurrock predicted vote share: Reform 36.6%, Con 12.3%. Witham predicted vote share: Reform 30. 9%, con 28.2%.